So here we have the Return of the Jedi, the final Star Wars films before the new ones come out. And for me, you know, it's kind of the weakest one along with Phantom Menace. There are good things in it, but there's a lot of bad things in it that get overlooked. And the same way people bash the prequels without much thought sometimes, I like to tend to give this one a free pass without much thought, because when you watch it after Empire Strikes Back, there's a massive fall in quality. There's a huge fall. It's not just about the Ewoks. The Ewoks are horrible. The Ewoks are the worst thing ever in Star Wars. I mean, this is the old school complaint. Before people complained about the prequels or complained about Jar Jar, we all complained about the Ewoks. We've been doing this for 30 years, and I don't think we should stop doing it, because the Ewoks are bloody awful. And they should all die. They're horrible. They slow the film down. There's lots of cutesy stuff that don't make any sense, and it's just an abomination. It's terrible. The idea is quite good that primitive culture helps destroy the Empire, but this is teddy bears destroy the Empire, and that's not good. That just doesn't work. It was originally Wookiees, and it should have been Wookiees, because they would have been made you feel like there was a reason. But with these ones, it's like, oh, God, this is terrible. So then we'll go to the start of the film, and the best section is the Jabba the Hutt section. Even though actually, if you look at the plot, it's a lot of introductions, because one person's introduced, another person's introduced, and it's introduction after introduction, constantly, with people we already know. The only person who's changed at all is Luke, because he's a Jedi. Everyone else is the same as they were before, but you get introductions to them, and it's like, why? Why do we need this? We know who they all are, and it just pads out the sequence, and it's still fun though. Even though it's like everyone gets a little bit that feels very mannered and very doesn't feel like it's been worked out properly. It's still fun though, because there's lots of atmosphere, and you've got the whole thing of waiting for Luke for the first, basically third of this sequence, the first half of the sequence, you're waiting for Luke to show up. And that creates a good suspense, but they could have done some more with what was happening between them, because when Han Solo gets defrosted, you get like 2 minutes of dialogue, then he disappears for a while, and nothing's really developed that well. I mean, it's just like you're waiting for Luke, and that's the big tie-in for people's interest, but other stuff could have been done to make you more interested. But the atmosphere really sells, and the atmosphere keeps it going, even though it's just a bunch of introductions. But when Luke shows up, that's why it's interesting, because you see him, he has switched to being a Jedi, and it's not just he's wearing a cloth, he's actually following the idea, which is to be selfless, to be calm, to not go straight for the violence, to try and get a solution that's diplomatic. So there's lots of nice moments there. As soon as he turns up, the film kicks up a gear, and you see him give Jabba a chance to hand over his friends. The plan doesn't quite make sense, because he seems to give Jabba droids, and what happened if Jabba said, yeah, that's fine. You'd have lost C-3PO and R2-D2. So obviously he knew it wouldn't work, but it's like the plan seems to be kind of vague, but it still kind of works as soon as the action starts, and they go to Sarlacc pit, and they have to defeat Jabba's people and escape. Those are good sequences, but there's lots of introductions, and it just feels like it could have done with better scripting, because it is kind of lazy, but the direction and atmosphere really keep it going. But it could have been so much more. Jabba could have been a lot scarier if they'd really given him stuff to do beyond sit there and give orders. I mean, it was built up as a much scarier villain in the other films, and then he's just this guy. So it's just a guy sitting there, and it's like, doesn't really pay off what you were hoping for when you saw him. So, but I remember as a kid, I still thought it was a great sequence, and I think for most people viewing it the first time, it's a great sequence. I think it's just, when you rewatch it, it's like, these are just introductions for people we know. What's going on, it just feels a bit lazy, but it's still good. It's still a good sequence. So we move on to Luke meets Yoda and finds out that Darth Vader is his father. It's all everything's confirmed. There's a lot of bits of dialogue to bring it together and push Luke towards facing Vader again. And it's all really well done. It's always good to see Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan. It's good to see Yoda again before he dies. And all those sequences are, in some ways, they're some of my favourite parts of the film because it's all about the mythos, it's all about the past. Everything's tied into all the films. The prequels and the originals, everything's tied in, explaining everything. So it's quite nice to have a combination before before the forces meet up and actually have to fight. So that's really nicely done. And it's a good send off to see how they view Vader now, how they view Anakin. So really well done. But and then it kind of goes downhill after that because they set up the Endor mission. And at this point, it's pretty obvious that Harrison Ford's phoning in his performance because the script's not really there and he just looks all the time. He's smelling too much and it doesn't seem very motivated compared to where he was in the last movie. So the script doesn't seem to give him much to do and he doesn't seem that interested and it's quite a come down. I'm hoping with Force Awakens they get the character back a bit because in this one I was the biggest Han Solo fan as a kid, and then you saw this one, I was like, what happened? Like, is he going senile? What's going on? He just seems to be pretty dopey. There is funny moments, he does have some funny lines, but the acting doesn't seem that interested. He just seems to be not really there. I mean, Carrie Fisher's fine as Leia again, but again, she's not really given that much to do apart from one scene with Luke, and then the rest of the time, when they talk about her being a sister and how they tie all that together, that's well done, but most of the time she's just doing the same old stuff as from the first two movies. She does it well, but it's not like she's been challenged much in this movie, but she does what she has to do. And most of the actors just are following the characters again, but nothing's getting invented the way it was in Empire Strikes Back. People are into a rut with this film, and it's just quite disappointing because the script's in a rut as well, and no one can quite get a charge to keep it moving, make it great. Then basically you get a good speeder bike sequence, which is great fun, but then at this point you're kind of realising that the actions, the thing is going for the movie. That's really what the interest is. It's got one action scene after another. And that's what's fun about it. It makes, when you watch it in the cinema and you watch it at home, that's what keeps it going, is the action. But the first two films had action, but they did moments as well. And this one doesn't have those moments, so it feels kind of vague a lot of the time. When you watch it again, the highs aren't as high as they should be because they haven't built the film up properly. It just feels like a film that's just waiting to get to the bits it's interested in, and there's all these other scenes they have to go through. So it's like a half-interested film. I think the fact that they want to get this over with is obvious. So they want to get to the end of the story. so you see, you get to the Ewoks and you have lots of cutesy scenes and you try and be interested, but you're not. Unless you're... when I was a kid I hated them. So I saw this film when I was about 8 or 9 I think, and when it first came out, and I was bored with the Ewoks even then. I just thought, these are boring, this doesn't work. This is just, you know, when you've been talked down to and you don't like it, and the Ewoks are the ultimate talking down to an audience. So I know some people like them, but they're stupid. The Ewoks are horrible. Right, so the best stuff after this is when Luke faces Vader again. Basically that stuff all works. Luke versus Vader, Luke can take into the Emperor and the new Death Star. The attacking the Death Star with all the Rebel Alliance versus all the a lot of the big Empire ships. All that stuff's great. It's all action. All the action stuff's great. Luke versus Vader's great as they try and seduce him to the dark side, saying what they can do for him as a Sith. All that stuff is great. They try and tempt him, and then it becomes obvious he's not going to get tempted. He's going to stick to his guns. He's not going to join the dark side. Terrific stuff, because it's a good character moment because you actually see he actually is a Jedi. He's a Jedi for what he does, not what he says he does. So he's willing to go down with the ship and be killed for his beliefs. And that's a great moment. And that's what brings Vader back to the light side of the Force. because he sees that and he remembers what he was as a Jedi and what he used to be, and he sees the validity of the Jedi rather than the Sith. So all that stuff's great. Really, it's like they put all their effort into that sequence. They really pushed it and made it great. And Vader turns on the Emperor, and the Emperor doesn't see it coming, and Vader kills the Emperor and basically gives up his own life to save his son. All that stuff's great. I mean, it really works. It really builds up, and you can sense the passion for this story in those sequences. And yet, you've got the bloody Ewoks fighting on Endor, and it's stupid. They should be getting killed en masse, and they're somehow got all these things that they seemingly are built. These little Ewoks seem to have built instantly to fight the Empire. It's like, where did they build them from? And it's like, what's going on? This is just dumb. And I mean, it's crowd pleasing stuff, but it's boring when you actually think about it. It's boring because you know it's a cheat. And that whole sequence is a cheat. I mean, no wonder Harrison Ford phoned it in, because he's acting with teddy bears and it's just so dull. And it's like, I don't see why people can actually complain about the prequels and praise Jedi, because the Ewoks are awful. The Ewoks are just so bad. And this whole sequence is ruined because of this one invention. And all the good work's been put in is ruined. But I'll go off the Ewoks because I could rant for hours about the Ewoks. So I'll just go back to the good stuff when Vader takes off his mask and sees Luke and says he's redeemed him, and then the Death Star's blown up. There's another nice little bit in the special editions, which is a controversial point, but I like it, was when we see Anakin as a Force ghost fight Anakin from the prequels. Which is the only thing that makes sense. People have been going on about why they changed that from the guy from the original version. Well, that guy was just basically a day player who you'd never seen before, you never see again. And for anyone watching the films beyond the original viewers, it's like, it makes sense that it's Hayden Christensen, because you've seen him in other movies as Anakin. It just makes sense as an emotional attachment to him, his story. It's dramatically, that's what it has to be. And that was obviously a placeholder until they did the prequels. I mean, it was obvious that was going to have to happen, because even as a kid I was thinking, you knew there was going to be other movies eventually. I was thinking, well, I guess that guy's going to get switched around at some point, because obviously that's not who will be Anakin. So even as a kid I knew that was going to happen, and because it was an obvious dramatic thing to actually have happen, and now people complain about it, and it's like, well, why? It makes no sense. Arguments against that make no sense, because you have no emotional attachment to this actor who's in it for 5 minutes. When you've got an actor who's in it for 2 movies, you may not like those movies, but that's the story, so it has to be him as a Force ghost. So that's my little argument about that. And I guess one of the bits I like a lot when you see the film now is the didactic gave an ending to that story. And I mean, anything to do with Luke is great in this film, and the action stuff, fighting the Empire is great, and even the speeder bike stuff's great. But just, you know, it's a lazy film. It's really a lazy film. I mean, it's actually, the Phantom Menace actually was less of a lazy film, because it was setting stuff up. It did a lot of stuff wrong, and there was, if you look at my video of what I thought I did wrong, it's a worse film than Return of the Jedi. But at least it was as lazy as Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi just seemingly can't be bored by certain bits and just fills them in, hopes for the best. And it's the worst script of the whole, 6 movies so far, because there's bits where just oh, that'll work, that'll be fine, And there's other bits that are great, but some of the plot in this film is atrocious. It's just, they get away with it from showmanship, but the plot in this film, it takes a piss a lot of the time. It's really bad in lots of ways. It's just showmanship that keeps it going, and better on some subplots, but the plot in the Endor, the plotting is just atrocious. So in this case, I would definitely say Return of the Jedi is one of the weakest Star Wars films. I'm sure that'll be popular, but I don't care, because it is my genuine opinion. It's it's the kind of things when I don't watch Star Wars all the time, but when I watch Star Wars and then Empire Strikes Back, you're on a high, then it's, oh god, I've got a ton of Jedi to go. In the same way, the prequels is like, I've got to get through Phantom Menace, and then I'll get to the stuff I quite like, you know, and then I'll get to the really good one. You know, it's like, there's one in each trilogy that is like, oh boy, I need to get through this one. And for the original trilogies of Return of the Jedi, the ending which they buggered up in lots of ways. So that's the end of my Star Wars movies. After New Year, I'm going to go back and I'll do some Mad Max movies and I'll try and do a series of movies. This is Star Wars and I hope you enjoyed it.